Welcome back to the channel, everybody. Today, we're taking a look into the latest Tarrant County Commissioners meeting that took place on March 11th, 2025, where citizens are once again demanding answers about the alarming numbers of deaths inside the Tarrant County Jail. But this time, there's an added layer of outrage because just days ago, Sheriff Bill Wayborn's own son, William Wayborn, was arrested in Arlington for solicitation of a person under 18, assault on a peace officer, and resisting arrest. And while others facing serious felony charges are almost always transported to the county jail, William was quietly bonded out from the Arlington City Jail in about 24 hours, never having to step foot in the facility that his father insists to everybody else that it is safe.
Well, first of all, I want to make sure that people know that 98% of those people really died in the hospital. All of them under doctor's care if they were there, and it was from chronic illnesses like cancer and heart failure and kidney failure, and they're a very sick population. And that's what I tell people is that that's a small city. During my tenure, we've booked in 350,000 inmates into jail, and we have an average daily population of 4,100. And while we advocate for those people, 50% of them are chronically ill. They come in the back door on day one, and we medically screen them, and we take care of them, we advocate for them, and we make sure that they get the best care. And that's what I would like for them to know. Well, for one, I want people to know that I can't raise people from the dead, and I can't keep people from having bad diets and 30 years of heroin use, and all of a sudden, their heart can't take it anymore, and there's not much that we can do about that. But what we are wanting to do, technology-wise, is we're wanting to hopefully do some things that's not quite affordable yet, but we think it's going to get there, where, for instance, we're looking at items that we can attach to an inmate that'll monitor their vitals, and that we can absolutely see that they're in crisis real early. So early alert technology is one of the things we're going to do.
So to Mr. Wayborn and to all the other sheriffs, if what you're saying how you ran that jail is correct, then show the videotape, because it shows every motion how it wasn't. My brother was killed from a pepper spray. Remember that. I'm so sorry that it was a gunshot to you, but it was a pepper spray. So can you imagine what went through in that jail cell, in his mouth? No medicine, and Mr. Marr was notified. Of course you're supposed to arrest a fucking sexual predator. I'm sorry.
Remove her now.
Of course.
Remove her now.
Yeah. This is what we're talking
That is what you're going through.
Yeah.
We're going to see this again.
Okay.
And everything she has said.
Remove him as well.
I'm sorry that you're going through.
Here we go, removing people again for using constitutionally protected speech.
But this
She
is the same
does
action
not have
I
to-
want for my son's murder. Mr. O'Hare, do that.
It's in document 115. Look it up.
Here is a press release that Sheriff Bill Wayborn released the next morning after his son was arrested and immediately released. In his statement, Sheriff paints his son as a victim, citing developmental challenges, while sidestepping the real issue. Why wasn't he taken to the county jail like anyone else that would have faced these charges? Tonight, we're going to look at the public outrage during this commissioners' meeting, where furious citizens and grieving families are calling out the sheriff's hypocrisy and his propaganda and the gaslighting that he's been putting on the public. This is a story about power, privilege, and a system that works differently for those at the top.
I'm here today to speak on the arrest of the sheriff's son on 3/3/2025. Mr. O'Hara, I want to know if this is being investigated for the abuse of power, since the sheriff obviously used government resources for personal gain to get his son out of jail, also known as preferential treatment, or the new thing, DEI. I will pause for a second for your response. It was Ms. Simmons' statement on the matter that got me thinking. And I quote, "The local police department, the sheriff's office, and Tarrant County magistrates acted swiftly. And because all the systems operated symbiotically, a young man accused of several felony crimes was released from jail in less than 24 hours. He was released in 24 hours after soliciting a minor and assaulting and injuring a police officer. Why was that possible? My son was dead in less than 24 hours after arriving to Tarrant County Jail. Less than 24 hours. Let me ask another question, Mr. Ramirez, Mr. Krause, Mr. O'Hara. You all have daughters. If that was one of your girls who he solicited, would you be okay with the fact that he was already back in the public? The fact that Wayborn did not want his son to spend 1 hour in Tarrant County Jail should speak volumes. My son was also mentally disabled. Unlike Wayborn's son, my son put his life on the line for this country as a Marine and was treated worse. Show the video. My son was under the care of MHMR. Prior to arrival at the jail, Mr. Wayborn stated that his son has all of his mental issues. Was he ever evaluated by MHMR? My son was still murdered after we followed all your protocols. Mr. Ramirez, where are the body cameras? For the jailers, and also they need it for the sheriff deputies as well.
Well, residents of Tarrant County, like I said, the more the commissioners resist and avoid doing right by our family, the more truth comes out. Sheriff Wayborn's recent actions of his son shows why I've been coming here for almost a year to reveal that my brother was killed in that jail, and that the sheriff and 4 of these commissioners are not doing anything about it. Even the old sheriff knows the likelihood of his son surviving that jail, especially with the charge his son had, because you guys just killed the guy who was arrested on September 10th with similar charges. All you guys do is contradict yourself and then police how the truth comes out. And you guys are killing people behind it. The time and consideration of detail you take to make words not included in a proclamation, Mr. Krause, I wish you would take immediate action on leadership, but you guys refuse to do that. And you also prove that, or you haven't proved the exceptional job that Wayborn has claimed. You haven't shown the video. You guys sit here and say that the things that are going on in Tarrant County, and yet the one evidence that provides what's going on, you guys won't even show it. But look at what you guys are standing behind them. And look at what your leader is standing behind of. And yet every time I come up here, new truths get revealed. Keep doing wrong by my family. And now we see Wayborn skeletons. I wonder who all the skeletons going to be coming out.
Thank you.
Following Mr. Roach, we have Carla Palomares.
First of all, it's nearly 2 hours waiting for public comments. We respect the public. You put the option to speak first.
Yes.
It's great to honor employees, but we don't have what's something that no one knows about you. That's for the reception that you have later. I'd like to start by honoring a great man, a true Texan who exemplifies Texas values. Truth be told, we're not the only state who claims him. He grew up a stone's throw inside the New Mexico border. He grew up working on a ranch where hard work was daily life, instilling him the values that we honor today. His destiny, however, was not in the ranch. In fact, he came to work in Fort Worth, DFW. While his job put him in front of the cameras, he certainly was no actor, far from it. In fact, the public counted on him to be truthful, even when the truth was hard to hear. So I hope you will all join me in wishing a happy birthday to El Paso's own Sam Donaldson, born 411 years ago today. Mr. Donaldson wrote a great book, Hold On, Mr. President. In the book, he tells a story about a pesky teacher. I'm one of those who confronts him at the White House on a tour and says, you know, you're always confrontational and argumentative with the president. Same words that Judge O'Hare said. I won't meet with you because you're confrontational and argumentative. You bet I am. I'm also truthful. And Donaldson's response was, that relentless pursuit of truth, that's what our republic's all about. And Reagan, for his part, could give and take with the best of them, at least for most of his presidency. Sheriff Wayborn, not here, but I imagine Sam Donaldson's story resonates with you, and I hope it inspires you to cut the cow pies. You can say cow pies here? Gotcha. Because when you turn tail and skedaddle before tough questions, that's bad. When instead of facing the challenges, you make a video from your safe space and claim your critics are spreading misinformation, don't back that up, that's embarrassing. But when with a straight face, our sheriff says, we don't have that body camera, maybe in the future, maybe next year, that's absolutely shameful. That's misinformation, that's acting, that's passing the buck, because everyone knows here that body cameras are the most important tool for providing truth, accountability, transparency. Of course, Sheriff Wayborn is going to see the body camera in his son's serious crimes. Mm-hmm. How long did he spend in jail, did you say? I spent 48 hours in jail for no crime. Body cameras are the reason I'm not in jail right now. So I'm running out of time. What is the reason for the 3:45 a.m. text to me telling me not to show up at court? Judge O'Hare, you interrupted me last time. Let's hear an answer. What's the reason? That's the answer. There is no answer. Carolina Rodriguez, remember her? She got a face slammed to the ground. She snuck into an office, used a computer to send out a note. She got arrested for that. Someone said at 3:47 to me, nothing's going to happen.
Thank you. Following Ms. Palomares, we have Nan Terry.
My name is Carla Palomares, a resident of Precinct 4. I've been attending these meetings before any of you were elected to sit here. I've been calling for accountability for our sheriff since before any of you were elected to sit here. So I just want to ground you all in the truth that Bill Wayborn has been failing us as a leader since before any of you were elected to sit here. 3 of you have been here for over 2 years with fresh eyes, yet only one person on this court has been able to identify the problem like we have and cared enough to try to do something about it. This court has the power to fire this sheriff. I would like to hear from your own lips why you, Tim, and Manny still refuse to acknowledge Wayborn is the problem. We need and can find a better sheriff to serve Tarrant County. Each of you sitting on this dais should be demanding that he resign or pushing to fire him and investigate his conduct over the entirety of his tenure since 2017. On February 19th, after the last Commissioners Court meeting, Bill Wayborn took to county's social media platforms to invalidate and discredit the community members that spoke up about the injustice that stole Christopher Loyal's life. I don't pay taxes to sit here and see it be weaponized against me or my neighbors. I pay taxes to trust in competent leaders to do the right thing. The video that he posted was disgusting, and he should be censored for using our county resources to say that nobody, the public, knew what they were talking about. Really? The families have been directly impacted by the deaths under his watch, have no idea what they're talking about. But he's also inviting people to drop in and talk to him to get clarity and find out what we were talking about. Why doesn't he drop in here and meet us where we are? We may not have a video for Christopher, but his family deserves justice. We do have a video for Anthony, and it'll be almost 1 year next month that it's been hidden from the public and justice denied to the Johnson family. Release the video now and fire Wayborn.
The office of sheriff, chief of police, commissioner should be one of the most respected offices of any city. There are some great lawmen in this country's history. Pat Garrett, who killed Billy the Kid, Wyatt Earp, who was famous for the OK Corral shootout, and Bat Masterson, the real sheriff of Dodge City. On the dark side, we have Bill O'Connor, who was the most racist commissioner in U.S. history. Sheriff Mickey Stein in Kentucky recently shot the judge in his own chamber. And we have Sheriff Wilburn, Sheriff Wayburn, who's late his feet because of his white privilege and his double standards when he got Junior out of judge. Case MAG 4361832, resisting search or transport. Case MAG 4361833, assault against a police officer or judge. Case MAG 4361834, solicitation of prostitution of a person under 18 years of age. Veteran Marine Anthony Johnson's only crime, 2 crimes were: 1, being BMIJ, being a black male in jail, and having a manic episode. If Mr. and Mrs. Johnson were white and privileged, Anthony Johnson would be alive. President Trump wants to ban CRT. The governor and Republicans want to bamboozle our children. Instead of talking about slavery, want to call it voluntary relocation. Our country has some great history, like my favorite, the Boston Tea Party, the Act of Rebellion. And then history like Crispus Attucks not only was the first Negro to die in the Revolutionary War, but was the first person to shed blood in the name of this country. We have some ugly history too, which I won't go into. But my village is asking this body to initiate the action of removing Sheriff William Wayborn Sr. under Section 87.001 Acts 1987 of the 7th Legislation, Chapter 149, Section 1, which is effective September 1st, 1987. Please quit telling us there's nothing you can do to an elected official. That's cocky.
Thank you, County Judge, member, commissioners. I came to this meeting optimistic. I thought I would hear some revelations about improvements in protocols at the jail following the deaths. I have not heard anything. I got here a little bit late. I remain optimistic. So, didn't get that fulfilled. My reason for coming now is to magnify what was brought to my attention, which is evidently the Office of the Attorney General was not notified of the death that occurred in custody on February 8th. Texas Code of Criminal Procedure 49.18b reads, if a person incarcerated in a jail, correctional facility, or state juvenile facility dies, the director of the facility in which the person incarcerated shall investigate the death and will file a written report of the cause of death with the Attorney General no later than the 30th day after the date on which the person in custody died. The director shall make a good faith effort to obtain all facts relevant to the death and include those facts in the report. If that report has not been filed, and the reason the person who told this to me believes that it was not filed, was not coming up on the database. They searched and it's not there. The Texas Commission on Jail Standards has been notified, and they do have record of that death. So it was mentioned that Sheriff Wayburn left the last commissioner court meeting, went to his office, and made a special video for us. And I think that instead of spending time on videos, we really just need to focus on following the law. Commissioners and the county judge, the county officials have been trusted with law enforcement and advancing the law. And Judge, you said at a recent meeting you're going to fight like the Dickens to retain all of the statutory authority that's available to you. That authority is based on trust. And it's a Class B misdemeanor to fail to file that report. And an example of some Class B misdemeanors, some forms of theft, under $750, theft, possession of marijuana, prostitution, criminal recklessness, failure to pay child support, disorderly conduct, criminal trespass, DUI, criminal mischief. So if I got a warrant for me for any of these things, I would be thrown in jail, might get my skull thumped in. The last several months of deaths and these meetings served me as a reminder that government doesn't care about the effect of their policies on the people subject to them, only that their policies are followed by us. The concept of self-reflection and accountability dies on a hill of paperwork here in Tarrant County. The closest thing to an acknowledgement of failure is we don't have the money or manpower. I want you to divert funding and get body cams now.
But I'm the mother of Traylon Wormley, who lost his life inside a Green Bay jail on July the 20th, 2022. That's 7 days before his court date. I'll follow up with the rest later. I want you to know that on March the 3rd, when I saw that Wayborn's son, mental ill, got arrested and didn't stay in the jail a day, didn't make it to Tarrant County, I look at my son and say, wow, that's a hero. Because it was March the 3rd, he was arrested on January the 25th, taken out of his bed with a monitor on his leg that I requested to keep up with him. He never took it off. Never took the monitor off. But he had brain injury and many other disabilities. He was on a bond probation. Mental ill on a bond probation, who do they get involved? And I still was clocking in every 2 weeks, 100 hours. Never missing a beat with him. To know that March the 3rd, after he was in jail, January the 25th, with all the illness, special doctors he had, March the 3rd, we go in court and they denied a bond. Said he had to sit in there until his hearing come. How many did they let free? I'm gonna continue. It hurts. It hurts. But this is not for Wayborn anymore. Pathway to purpose is what I get. I'm listening to the terms. Pathway to purpose. I'm standing in the gap for him. I want him to find his new purpose. He has some family members out here. Tarrant County is not it. It's not it. So for the fans that he have that's supporting him, the raises he's being given, y'all killing him. He have a purpose and I'm gonna believe in it, but it's not here.